Hello world, you're watching 80s Music Twin Ranked. Today we're talking about...
Who are you?
Who are we talking about?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm
Chris.
Talking about Billy Squier.
Yeah.
A guy who had a pretty good career, but all ruined because of one video.
Yeah, Squier. Not R-E, but E-R. It's a weird spelling.
Oh yeah, I guess.
That's Q-U-I-E-R. That's too many vowels together.
Is that his real name?
Yes, that is how he spells it. So.
Anyways. So do you know any other artists who you could say their career was ruined by a video?
I can't recall any at the moment, but I'm sure there are people who...
I think I've heard Avril Lavigne ruined her career based on a video.
There are groups that have had something they did ruin their career. Doesn't necessarily mean it was a video.
And it's interesting that this was around the time Boy George was coming around. He was accepted, right? Karma Chameleon was a pretty
Billy Squier had a fan base that so he was masculine, and
even though well, you look at that video, he wasn't
a lot of pink in the video. The guitar was pink.
He wasn't exactly the buff guy. So
no,
masculine about him other than his music.
Yeah,
but yeah. So here we go. You go through his albums.
You know what? That's what we should have done when we started the video. We should have been like,
no, we're not doing that. Do we need to start over? Okay, so here this guy. He's got not very many albums because of his career cut short, even though he put albums afterwards. Yeah. But so you could really say what there's
4 years. That's amazing.
Albums.
That how many songs he has that we hear that are He's got over 10 hits.
Yeah.
Within a 4-year span, and everybody knows you say Billy Squier.
And he's played consistently today. It's not like he dropped off the face of the earth.
He did retire from playing for a while. Yes. And then he didn't make an album, but
just think of some artists that didn't do anything drastic like that. All their music was good, and you never hear from them again. When's the last time you heard an Olivia Newton-John song on the radio?
Right. Well, she's on her third battle with cancer. Right
now. Yeah. But I mean,
so she's probably got health reasons.
She started in the '70s, but still, her music is pretty decent.
Yeah.
And I don't hear nothing from her. Not even "Physical," which was a really good song. Don't hear it ever.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Barbra Streisand. Pretty good singer.
Yeah.
She puts albums out all the time. Just it's never mainstream pop music.
Right, it's not mainstream. Okay, but anyways, let's go back to the albums. His second album was the one that brought him to see.
Yeah, he had a first album, and the only thing people say about that album is he has a song called "The Big Beat." And
no. The Big Beat's on the first one.
Right, that's what I said.
The tail of the tape.
The first album, the only thing that people know about is he has this song called "The Big Beat,"
right?
And everybody's sampling the drums from it.
And if you don't know what the sample is, and I listened to him like I can't tell, right?
Yeah,
drum.
It doesn't sound like a sample. It sounds like, hey, I'm going to use that beat, and they play it the same way. That's not a sample.
Honestly, everybody uses that beat, don't they? How do you say that's from him? I'm sure if you could look at music before
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, that's just a normal drum
beat. Right, and then so Alicia, he's got writing credit on Alicia Keys'
Girl on
Fire because that's the sample.
Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again, which I couldn't really. Yeah. I'm like, that doesn't sound
Eminem
like
apparently used it for a song. I don't know. But so his set, and nothing real, I didn't hear either of the two hits, supposedly. I don't remember them. So, second album, Superstar Status. Okay?
Yeah.
Four hit.
Well, my favorite album.
Yeah, mine too.
Signs of Life, which had the video, The Rooted Career. It's my second favorite album.
Yes, and you know what? Our sister had that. She played it all the time, right? So you could say it's 4 hits. 3 of them were released. Right. Lonely as the Night was never released as a single, but after, I don't even think I heard it before Signs of Life, but after Signs of Life, Lonely as the Night is playing all the time.
In fact, that's one of the songs I hear the most of. So
yes. Yeah.
So being a song that was never released this year, one of the other ones.
I know. So, but album's called Don't Say No.
Right.
And clearly, when he got to that video, he should have said
no. Well, yeah, he said. I guess he's blaming the director.
He blamed. Okay, I partly agree. We both agree that it ruined his career, right?
Yeah, okay.
But
even though he had 3 hits, after that video.
Okay, so he might have thought that was a bad idea, but was that not him crawling on the floor?
Yeah.
Was he wearing the pink outfit? Yes. So while he's in the midst of doing it, he didn't say, no, I don't feel right about it.
Yeah,
he waited until after the video was done. Then he's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't release that.
If you ask me, it looked like he was into it.
Especially even when they finally get to the part where they're playing the band, and he goes over the drummer and they're doing this. Yeah. I'm like, that's not any better than what you just did in the bedroom. So he's at fault. I think he's at fault.
Yeah, he could say no if he wanted
right.
to.
And in between that one, which is his best album, and Signs of Life, which I don't remember
that album. Just say no. You're like, why didn't you use that?
Don't say no.
Don't say no. The album. You said, why didn't you use that motto or mantra for the video? Now, after the video, and everybody's like, saying everything about the video. That's why you named the next album. All right, look, enough is enough. Tired of hearing about it.
So at least after he ruined his career, he at least tried to get back on track by who produced that next album?
Queen's
Peter Collins. No, he did. Peter Collins, who did
Rush,
Power Windows.
Yeah.
So he at least tried. He made the effort to turn his career around because he hired the very good producer. Because that's our favorite Rush album.
Yeah.
All right, but okay. So what do you think about the video? Why does he think
we watched it all the time? In my memory, every time it came out, we sat down and watched it.
Yeah, it was because it was a good song.
Well, we were only what year was it? 84. So we were only 14
and probably years old. I'm telling you, when that song came out, that was probably my favorite song.
Yeah.
And he had more. Some say he got more into keyboards, but no. If you listen to Don't Say No, he had keyboards in the dark. My Kind of Love, those had good keyboards on it. So it's not like he didn't have keyboards before. But now they're bringing it out,
right?
And what's the kick on that video? Why is it so bad, supposedly? Because it makes him less masculine, right?
Yes, yeah.
Right. It's all pink. So what does he
put it out now? Everybody'd love it.
So what does he do for the next album? He puts out a single and it stars Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Well, he had 3 different albums that had
I know.
Queen band.
So Freddie Mercury, he's known to be gay now, right?
Freddie Mercury, I think, also sang background on The Stroke.
He did, yeah. He did something.
And didn't Roger Taylor play on that?
Yeah. And they had 3. They had 3 consecutive albums where they had people from Queen as backing on it.
In fact, the video that we're talking about, he originally wanted the director,
right,
from Queen's. I can't remember who. The director that did The Game, I could be wrong.
I don't know what his name was, but yeah, he
wanted a different director.
He did, but then the Queen recommended another director. Okay, and it's also interesting. So he gets Freddie Mercury, and Freddie Mercury in Crazy Little Thing Called Love, that video. He has women in that video. Even though he's gay, he had women rip off his shirt. Yeah. And maybe that's where he got the idea to rip his shirt off and Rock Me Tonight.
Yeah, I don't know.
So. Now, before I get any further, I just want to mention, we haven't said anything about Emotions in Motion.
Right.
But probably I would say his biggest song, best known song, is Everybody Wants You. And that comes from that one.
Right? He's self-taught guitar player.
Yeah. So when you listen to his stuff, he reminds me of maybe a poor man's Bryan Adams, right?
Could be.
He's like,
Queen. He is kind of in the style of Queen a little bit.
Yeah. I think his guitar playing is more recognizable than Brian May's.
Yeah.
Because
I had heard at one point at Brian May's picks. He doesn't have a pick. He uses coins.
Okay.
So it just gives him that weird sound.
So, and Queen, they probably have good guitars. Obviously, We Are the Champions is the one right. But they're more known for Freddie Mercury, who's the front.
Most bands are like that. He's the front man.
Maybe that's Billy Squier. He's the front man and he plays the guitar, so that's a good thing for him. But so that album, Emotions in Motion, has that popular song.
Yeah.
But what I think is cool is the artwork on that with his face with all the colors.
Was done by Andy
Andy
Warhol.
Warhol.
That was pretty cool.
Now that guy's dead, but he's pretty famous. He made the picture of Marilyn Monroe with the 4 different types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was a member of the Men in Black organization. Or he was in the Men in Black
Because
three when they went back there. He took a wig off and it was different. He's like, oh, you're probably
Men in Black, because it's about aliens. They have to pick anybody
anybody
famous
who does weird.
and weird. You're an alien.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can say Billy Squier. He's our first out of all the videos we've done. This is close to 20. I think it might be 20.
Yeah. I wonder how much he got paid for that. It was only Billy Squier's. I mean, is that first album did the best? I think it was his best-selling album.
So it would have been this would have been right after Don't Say No. So he probably.
I'm saying Don't Say No was his best-selling album.
So he got all this money.
So he had enough money to pay Andy Warhol to do the
famous
cover.
painter, right? So, but Billy, because of his career, he didn't have a whole lot of singles. So this is the first guy where when I gave Chris the list, didn't have 20 hits to pick from.
Signs of Life also has a similar style.
Yeah.
Because the Andy Warhol thing is kind of like he's got blue over here, red over here, whatever. It's like, but with Signs of Life, it's like there's a hand down here and it's holding up a mask. It's like a face put together with different parts and there's eyes poking through. So it kind of looks like this Don't Say No cover.
Yeah.
Now the other one, what's
Here and Now?
Here and Now, that one looks like a mugshot. and the pun here, and it's not Here and Now. It's
Here and Now.
Here and Now.
I read that was trying to be a comeback album, only because it had his
Don't
last
Say You Love Me.
Don't Say You Love Me. That's his last pop big song.
Right.
Last one on the charts. That's all it was on that album, really, honestly. And then nothing after that. Happy Blue was strictly.
That's why I put this. That last one is why this is in blue.
Yeah. Now Happy Blue is, I read, it's only acoustic. The whole album. So it probably didn't sound like anything previously. So you got 9 albums if you include that one.
Right.
And still more than the Eagles put out. Unless you count their greatest hits.
And the 2 greatest hits. Did he have a greatest hits album? I mean, people put compilation albums out.
I mean, he had one
There's
called
always,
The Essential.
just about every band has one called The Essential, whoever it is.
That would be his.
And
I don't remember.
That's a record company that does that for famous bands.
Yeah. As far as starring in movies or anything, nothing.
Yeah, no.
And
Weird Al didn't do anything of it.
Yeah, once you were in your career, even the movies are like, no, you know what?
But he does have a Christmas song that comes around every year.
Does he?
Yes, Christmas is the time to say I love you.
Oh yeah.
Christmas is the time to say I love you.
That's right.
Yeah, so he does have that. At least there is something extra to put on there.
He didn't put out any singles.
I'm assuming that song was recorded before Rock Me Tonight.
He didn't put out anything for movies, but supposedly he has a single that was in St. Elmo's Fire, but it was never released.
Yeah.
And
I really, Rock Me Tonight came out, video of his career. But after he put on that album, All Night Long, pretty fast rocking song. And Eye on You, which has a lot of weird stuff that I like in it. It sounds like laser shooting in the middle.
Yeah. I don't remember if there was a fourth one. I thought Reach for the Sky was one, but it was never released. But like I said,
I remembered that though.
Our sister had that album, so that's
why we hear it.
Sometimes you think it's a single, but it's just the bedroom next door.
It's just because you remember it, right? Yeah.
So now let's veer off, like we did our Pet Minotaur. Let's veer off a little bit. You know who did have a better career after that video than Billy Squier did?
Who?
The director. the Ortega.
Oh, yeah.
So he directed, for all you people today, if you watch our video,
High School Musicals.
He did all 3 High School Musicals and all 3 Descendant movies. Yeah. And prior to Billy Squier, he actually did the Tubes' She's a Beauty. That was maybe his first directed video. That was a pretty good video.
So I wonder when people see him, they're like, hey, You're the guy who ruined Billy Squier's career. I mean, there are other people like that. There's directors like that.
Yeah.
What Michael Cimino, is that how you say it? Cimino, who did The Deer Hunter?
Yeah, and then
he did Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
And put United Artists and they were a big part of the James Bond franchise.
Actually, you know what? So you're talking director-wise.
Or didn't they also do the Pink Panther series? Because I remember seeing the UA before those movies.
Okay, so similar, if you were talking about somebody who's a director that had a similar career as Billy Squier, is the guy who did Beverly Hills Cop. Martin Brest.
Okay.
I think he had a good one before. I can't remember if it was Going in Style with Art Carney and George Burns and all them.
Okay.
He did that. Then he did maybe a movie in between, Beverly Hills Cop. Then he did Midnight Run, which I really like.
Yeah, that's really good.
Right?
Robert De Niro not playing
I know. And it was funny. Even though there's a lot of cussing in it, but it's still a funny movie.
Yeah.
And Charles Grodin's best movie, probably. And then then he did Geely.
You did? Okay.
And if you look at his IMDb, that's his last directing movie. Okay. Like, his career over after that, because it's considered like one of the worst movies ever.
Yeah, no, that's
right?
funny because Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, their careers went on pretty successful even after that movie.
Right, so they became the director, and he got the career that went poof. And he didn't die; he's still alive.
Yeah,
so they're similar.
He's working at Walmart.
Yes, so. There's your history. That wasn't Billy Squier, but similarity. So there's your history for Billy Squier. Still good artist. Just, you know, he could have had a whole lot more.
A lot of groups that are like, even if they didn't have a video that killed their career, they were over after the 80s. You don't hear about them anymore. So
yeah. So you wonder,
and who you could say Billy Squier had a lot more hits. So
yeah, he did. But come the 90s, and that's why the 90s suck, is because people who still were making good music didn't last because the 90s changed.
Even with that video, I still envy his career. I'd rather have that career.
Well,
he doesn't need to play.
He supposedly, he now looks back at his career. He says, I had a good life, and this was just a bad spot in my good life. So good for him to look at it that way.
Yeah.
You know, at the time, I'm sure he didn't look at it that way. But, you know, his career was going to be over because guitar solos went out the door.
I mean, because rock music was waning down and
so
moving into pop.
People that play guitars now, they're like, where do we go? Because they don't play guitar. So, anyways, that's Billy Squier. So he should be thankful he grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, really.
Yep. So let's go ahead and get to his top 10.
10.
Alright, so before we get to our top 10 list, I had forgotten to mention this. During forget which one it is. I think it was Emotions in Motion. It might have been Don't Say No, but I think it was Emotions in Motion when he was going on his tour, right? He had the opening act for his tour was Def Leppard before they hit it big, so he was part of their breakthrough.
Oh.
Yeah. And then they had Pyromania the very next year.
Yeah, so, I always hear that like REO Speedwagon, Styx, and those kind of bands from the 80s, they tour, like, Billy Squier should go on tour with them.
Yeah.
He'd fit in.
Yeah. You should do that, right? And some bands don't even have their original members, so why not, right? So, and it's interesting. I didn't mention this with Rush. It was interesting. I had a book, and I was looking up, and here they toured with Kiss before they made it big. It's like, that's kind of weird. Rush with Kiss when they had their makeup.
Yeah.
So, and then they went off to have a better career probably than Kiss did.
All right. Kiss, I think Kiss was a little bit, I wouldn't consider them mainstream, but more mainstream than Rush. Rush was kind of like an obscure band.
I don't know that Rush ever got mainstream.
Yeah, but a lot of
know their stuff.
Big fan base, but not really mainstream.
Yeah. But Kiss's stuff doesn't really get played on mainstream nowadays.
Mainstream classic rock.
Yeah.
Well, so does Rush.
I mean, there is 106.9 plays "Lick It Up." That's all they play. Some might play the what's the rock and roll song?
all night, all day.
Yeah.
I want to rock him.
That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, every day.
So for the second week in a row, Chris got all 10 right again. Of course, a little bit easier when.
Well, yeah, he's
when
only has
20
like
hits
16 maybe.
and you 20, 19 hits. And you could say 5 of them never heard of, so let's boot those, even though they're legitimately hits. Like the Big Beat,
They weren't hits. They were released as singles. Doesn't
Yes,
mean they were
yeah, and the Big Beat I put at the bottom because I didn't know about the sampling, so I'm like, I'd never heard that. And here, apparently, I've heard of it.
Well, if you go, hey, so you sampled Billy Squier's drums? They're like, who? No, it's just a drum beat. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Ask people questions today. Like, have you ever heard of this guy? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Hey, you're sampling. You're playing the snare on 2 and 4. That's fine. Are you insane?
Okay, you can't play your drums at home because that sounds like Billy Squier. I didn't, never even heard of him. Okay, so 2 songs that were on my list didn't make the top 10. So I veered off the path a couple times.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, She Goes Down, which I like. I forget which album that's on. Love Is the Hero, the one with Freddie Mercury. Well, again, I think both of them were on the same album, so yeah. And they didn't make the list.
You didn't pick Shadow Love, which is also on that album.
No, and you're like, why'd you pick those and not the Big Beat?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's more known, I guess. All right, you should all know this. Maybe one you won't know, but all these guys should know. So the number 10, we have this at number 10. I have this at 9. You have it at 10 because it's the one played the most. And honestly, I actually didn't want it. I re-ranked again, but when I originally did it, I didn't want this in my top 10 because it's even if you knew what it meant.
Was it his first hit?
Yeah, I think it was actually. Unless you count those other 2, which didn't go on the Billboard charts, they were still on the radio apparently. But yeah, it would be The Stroke,
which is talk about stroking. Like the executives' egos, so you can get what you want as a musician. That's kind of like what they.
Okay, I heard it had to do with the music business, but I still didn't.
Yeah,
know.
if you look at the lyrics,
I was thinking it was like Pete Townsend when he does the arm with the guitar.
He said, "Put your right hand out, firm handshake. You're making deals."
Okay,
and you look at the lyrics here and talking about selling your soul, kind of.
Well, I don't know about you, but when I shake somebody's hand, it's not a stroke. Unless you're going do the.
He's talking about you let your backbone slide, so it's like you're not putting up a fight.
Oh, okay.
Right? Do what you want.
I got you.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I don't know. But some obscure lyrics. It's kind of like Hotel California.
Right.
Hotel California is not about a hotel. It's about they're talking about the party life in like LA is what they were talking about.
Well, I used to think that meant death because this is you check in, but you can never check out. Like, I thought the guy died.
No, I think they were talking about all the things in the music industry, probably cocaine use too. Who knows?
Yeah, and the thing I don't like about The Stroke is you got one part where how many times does he say
7.
stroke? 7
Yeah,
again?
Yeah, again that 7
Everybody
repeat, which
uses a
we
7.
saw in
Stroke!
Phil Collins.
Yes.
Phil Collins with I Don't Care Anymore.
And Journey with
and
at the
Journey
end
with
of
Bananas.
Yeah. It's got to be 7.
Yes.
What the heck? But why? Why do you have to say stroke? That part ruins the song for me. That actually does. It ruins the song. Okay. Number 10.
that's number 10.
And that was on his best-selling album. Don't say no. So, all right,
most recognizable song?
maybe. Okay, so next one up, the most non-recognizable song of our list, "Eye on You." It was the 3rd song released.
This is high on my list, I know.
Yeah, you had it up at number 6. I had it down at 13, but thankfully it beat The Stroke. I'll give it that.
This has a lot of creative things.
Yeah, it does. It's the slowest.
It's slower than normal songs. That Emotions in Motion.
Yeah, and there comes a point in the song where it's just him saying, "Got my eye on you," and all you hear is drums.
Oh, and then you hear the clicking, and I thought, what are they doing there?
Right.
It's one of those things that you hit. They're like,
I don't know.
Yeah, they're like wood blocks. They're like
another weird instrument. that you got used. What are you sure that was they did that, or wasn't just a synthesizer? We just
Oh, could be. Yeah, I don't know.
all right.
I just remember those instruments. Remember, you go back to high school and they get in the covers and hand people just weird maracas and all these sorts of
Yes,
things that you
I
never
remember
play.
It reminds me of the Muppets where they had the heads they were hitting.
Oh, you know what it reminds me of? And I bet Neil Peart had some in it. Because and some of the drum solos he uses, something that sounds like that.
Yeah, he had a whole boatload of things. I don't know that this guy ever used anything other than regular drums, though. You look at because most of their videos of the songs are live performances. You know?
Okay, eye on you. If you haven't heard of it, listen to it.
Okay, so next one up, number 8. This would be the one song I want to hear on the radio because it was supposedly a hit. I don't know that I've ever heard it on the radio, and it's "Emotions in Motion." And you put an emotion.
I remember hearing it.
You put emotion in motion on your list when you handed it back to me. It's emotions in motion. Emotion in Motion was a song done by Rick Ocasek when he did a solo album. So this was not that song, but this is and this is emotions. Is tell you what, a lot of their songs have the bass stand out. Do 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 do. I think that's this song. Emotions in Motion. So you had this at number 9.
I don't know how that works. How do you put an emotion in motion?
Wake
Hey,
up.
what?
You just wake up. Now your emotions are emotion, right? You know?
Like I got anger.
Yeah.
Go anger.
So I had this at 8. You had it at number 9. That's why it's at number 8. Okay. We actually have 2 songs, obviously, from that album because we already said everybody wants to use their popular song. Okay, next one up. Second song from Don't Say No would be "Lonely Is the Night." It's better musically than The Stroke, right?
Right,
But
but again, it wasn't released as a single.
Yeah. And you have this at number 8. I have it at number 7 again. 1 spot up for both of us. Okay, and then the song that ruined his career at number 6, "Rock Me Tonight." He even spelled tonight wrong.
I did?
No, he did.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
He wrote Tonite. Why did they do that? Does that make the song different?
No, it's just the way they do it.
All right, so
it's like the here and now. It's different. Didn't want to put HERE.
yeah. So I have this at number 5. You have this at 7. And they have snapping fingers at the beginning, right?
Yeah, but he's moving his arms constantly in the entire video. Yeah, all the way until he gets his guitar.
And this was around the time we were writing our list of top 20 on MTV.
Oh yeah.
We that's going to be number 1. And we liked it. We liked it. And even Martha Quinn, she goes, "I don't remember any backlash on that video when it came out." But there we go. All right, next one up, number 5, the only song from Here and Now. "Don't Say You Love Me."
The only one I remember.
Yeah.
Dinner.
It's probably that's probably his best guitar song.
Yeah.
And I have this at number 4. You have it at number 5, and trying to get away from the gay theme, he puts a bunch of women in this video. Look, I'm not gay.
Yeah. I watch. There's a channel I watch on YouTube, and they call it the not gays. You gotta prove you gotta do something that says, "Look, I'm not gay."
All right. Number 4, another one from Don't Say No, and this is "My Kinda Lover," and I have this at number 3. You have it number 4 again. One of those where we got it 1 notch above for both of us from the previous. And I think I used to like this one better than "Everybody Wants You" because it didn't play as often as the other one. Yeah. So. and then
once you get past, I hear "Rock Me Tonight" still on the radio. Everyone watching The Stroke. After those 3, "Lonely as the Night" in there probably too. After that, the other ones are hit and miss if you're ever going to hear them on the radio.
Yeah, and this is another one. The bass stands out just like "Emotions in Motion." "My Kind of Lover." Do 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 do.
Yeah.
I mean if you learn the bass, he's got some songs.
It changes. It's different.
Yeah.
The chorus verse. I like when they do that when they don't sound the same.
Right. So yeah, if you're a bass player,
The instruments, not
listen
the
to
vocals.
his. Okay, that was number 4, and then the last one from Don't Say No. So you had 4 hits. Well, 3 hits. 4 hits now. In the Dark.
Which is weird because he says here every time. Why didn't you just name it Here in the Dark? Why did it have to be In the Dark?
And you have this as your favorite song. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not that high. 6. I wanted to rank it higher, but I like the other songs better. When you keep re-listening.
Yeah, I can see where the list is going. I don't know the list until I hear it from him.
And
I can see where it's
this has it doesn't have a lot of In the Dark. It's got the keyboards to it. So he's again, each instrument gets their own spotlight on these songs, right? So and what else? And we just did.
I really like the intro.
Yeah, you know what? That might be his best. That might be his best intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you hear it go, whoa, bing. I mean, it builds up to it. And we did Pat Benatar, right, last week.
Right.
Promises in the Dark. In the Dark.
Oh.
They were released the same year.
Who came out first?
I don't know. All right, so, and I was actually wanting our number 2 song, I actually kind of wanted it to be number 1.
He likes the night. It's Here in the Dark, so I'm assuming it's nighttime. Lonely is the night. Rock Me Tonight.
Rock Me. Yeah. All Night Long.
All day long.
Which is our number 2 song. Both of us put this at number 2. Okay. So I was actually hoping that would be number 1 because, man,
it's one that I'm like.
It is heavy.
I don't remember this on the radio, but I do, but I don't.
I remember the video too with his face and right in the center and like the stage behind. But it is even though I liked Rock.
It's probably his fastest song, right?
Yeah, I liked Rock Me Tonight back then, but this is heads and shoulders above Rock Me Tonight. All night long. Don't you want to live?
So the number 1 is the song everybody wants to be number 1.
Everybody Wants You is the song is number 1. I did have this at number 1 after re-ranking songs over and over. You had it number 3, so I could have put. I mean,
so you had the number 1
yes.
this year.
The point total, I could have if I switched it all night long. Would have been.
Right.
But, so Everybody Wants You is number 1 from Emotions in Motion. So, but still, even though the top 2 songs come from other albums, Don't Say No is still his best album.
Right. Yeah.
So that's your top 10 list for Billy Squier. Do you agree?
Don't agree. Like, comment. We appreciate the comment we had last week.
Yeah.
And it's the first comment we've gotten. So that's
20 videos in, we finally got a comment. Nobody ever said first.
Yeah, we don't even care if it's a negative comment or a positive comment. Just leave a comment. Yeah.
But definitely share the video.
Yeah.
And next week, I said we weren't going to be given a hint because we already said the guy's name last week, but I'll give you a hint. This guy went through several name changes.
Right.
How about
Several.
4? So there's your hint. And he'll be next week. And until then,